Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting out war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer 40,000 boarding actions, a brand new way to play your games of Warhammer 40k, taking the fight on board spaceships in the Underhive and other places of close confine. Now in this video we're going to focus on the Blood Angels today and talk a little bit about how we muster a boarding patrol army for the Blood Angels and look at some of the rules adaptations that apply to the Force and Space Marines in general. We'll then look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for our faction before looking at some other units we can use to expand upon after those initial couple of purchases. Finally, we'll finish off the video with a little sample 500 point army list, which is the standard point size for boarding actions for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own force of the Blood Angels for some boarding actions in Warhammer 40k. And with that all said, mustering a boarding patrol. Now this is just standard practice in most match play scenarios of 40k, but also it just applies in boarding actions in general. All chapter model units in your boarding patrol must be from the same chapter. This would apply regardless of what faction you're playing, same sub-faction. Now you can include one fast attack unit. Normally you're only allowed 0 to 1 HQ, 0 to 3 troops, and 0 to 3 elites, but you can include a fast attack choice so long as it is an assault squad unit that is not equipped with jump packs. You can also include one heavy support unit, but only if that unit is a Hellblaster or an Eradicator squad unit. If it is a Hellblaster squad unit, then it has to have a starting strength of 5 models. Additionally, no extra models can be added to that squad. Company veterans are restricted somewhat in a list building. You can only have a unit of company veterans if you contain at least one captain model in your force. This unit must have a starting strength of 5 models as well. Lastly, you can only include servitors in your detachment if you already include a Tech Marine model as well. Now moving on to rules adaptations wise, the combat squad rule does not apply to Space Marines in this. Instead, units are split forming into boarding squads, which is fairly similar to what your combat squads are. And also, if you have any models with the outflank ability, they lose the ability for the battles, as it's much harder to outflank in the confines of a giant space fortress or space hulk. And so, looking at where to begin, for me, I think a chaplain, and the reason I'm going chaplain is because of the other unit we're going to talk about in just a second. Now, you could certainly go a regular chaplain or a Primaris chaplain, whichever one really does it for you, or indeed, if you are using Legends stuff, you could certainly go for one of the chaplains in Terminator armor as well. You've got those options there, and, you know, the generic chaplain Terminator armor as well. So certainly a chaplain. The reason I'm going for this, I think he provides some really good solid buffs for a combat focused force like the Blood Angels. He's going to be able to provide, you know, the different sort of canticles with all these different blessings. You're going to be able to provide, you know, things like +1 strength or ability to shoot better in the close confines of halls where things like cover are really going to come into it. So it can definitely provide a lot. He's also a solid fighter in combat as well. With most of your chaplain's going to be wielding the Crozius Arcanum, which is going to be +2 strength, -1 AP, damage 2, so just solid stuff there. He also gives out his leadership bonus to all friends that can see him, because to give out aura abilities, you must be able to see the unit you're giving the aura to all models visible and within 6 inch. Now, for looking at a unit to start with, the first unit I like are Death Company Space Marines. Now, there are certainly a couple of things you can talk about for Death Company, and we'll talk about the other unit you can bring to the table in boarding actions as well. But for me, the regular standard old Marines of the Death Company are the way to go. They've got so many options for so many different weapons. They get a bunch of them for free, only ever having to pay for Power Fists and Thunder Hammers. So you can take, you know, a bunch of hand flamers, Inferno pistols, plasma pistols, nice lot of power swords and power axes, all fully equip up that unit and make them an absolute murder machine. Now, they do have one downside. This is their Black Rage, which is also, you know, a benefit to them. So in your movement phase, the unit cannot fall back, and it also can't perform any actions. However, they do have a 6+ Feel No Pain, and each time the unit fights, if it made a charge move or performed heroic intervention, until the fight is resolved, you can add one to their attacks. They get +1 attack on the charge as well. So a really nice, solid fighter unit for those corridors. Now, so continuing on looking at combat-focused units, we definitely want to get some that are actually able to score objectives and complete actions for us, and Blade Guard veterans are a really solid unit. You could certainly look at something like your Vanguard veterans potentially as well without jump packs, but I think Blade Guard veterans for me, the Primaris unit, are where the going gets good. These mastercrafted power swords for +1 strength of -3 AP, damage 2, make a mockery of other Space Marines armor. They got 4 up invulnerable saves and get to add +1 to their saving throws thanks to having their storm shields. So they're a 2 up with a 4 up invuln, which is really nice. And then, you know, they've got the options for the heavy bolt pistols, but the Sergeant can also take that Neo Volkite pistol, which is the ability to provide some mortal wounds as well in his output. Now, if we're looking at another close quarters unit, aggressors are certainly a really fun unit to bring to the table. Now, for me, both units really do have their merit, both different loadouts of weapons. The Boltstorm Gauntlet, you know, is going to provide quite a bit of shooting with an Assault 3, Strength 4, no AP, Damage 1. But you've also got that shorter range Flamestorm Gauntlet to get auto hits at Assault D6, Strength 4, no AP, Damage 1. But you've got the Fragstorm Grenade Launchers there as well, which are really cool for some nice blast weapons. In melee, you're both going to get a nice close combat power fist-like weapon, which is really cool. If we're looking for something a bit cheaper to bring to the table, then Assault Intercessors definitely give us a bunch of models at a much cheaper cost. The Sergeant can get all his equipment for free, which is really cool, and just essentially go absolute ham with them. They're a really fun unit, nice basic chainswords and heavy bolt pistols, you know, nothing too fancy here, but they're a unit that's definitely going to do some work on the table in boarding actions. And lastly, we have Death Company Intercessors. Now, Death Company Intercessors are interesting. They don't have quite the ability to load out as many models as the normal Death Company do, where all the models can replace their bolt rifles for either the auto or stalker bolt rifles. They can also choose to have their bolt pistols and bolt rifles replaced with bolt pistol and chainsword as well. Now, one model can have its weapon changed over to a hand flame or a plasma pistol, and if not equipped with a status chainsword, a model can get a power fist, power sword, or thunderhammer as well. So they can have, you know, a little bit of combat ability on them, but for me, I do think they are second fiddle to the regular Death Company. And so here we have our sample of boarding action army list for you. So we're obviously playing with the Blood Angels, which is, you know, one of the many different chapters we're going to be able to play with. Now, what do we get for chapter tactics with Blood Angels? First of all, we get to add one to the advance and charge rolls for our units, which is really cool. Nice for getting up and close and personal. And each time a model with this tactic makes a melee attack, if they charged, were charged, or performed heroic intervention, you get to add +1 to wound. Now, what's really cool is we've got the Primaris Chaplain in here. He's going to be leading our force. And we've got the Litany of Battle, the Excoriation of Rage, which is +1 a wound in melee. But what this will do if we're getting stuck in protracted combat, where we're not getting charged, where it's just sort of, you know, a bit of a grind, he can continue to press on that +1 to wound. Troops-wise, we've got the unit of 5 Assault Intercessors with the Sergeant there rocking his hand flame and power sword. The Aggressor Squad is one of our first elite choices, and we've got 3 different elite choices within this force. They're rocking Flamestorm Gauntlets, and then the Blade Guard Veteran Squad there with the Sergeant with his Neo Volkite pistol. A Death Company squad with all of them that can be, so 4 models with hand flamers and a variety of different weapons, so a power fist and 3 power swords, so you can swap them out for axes as you see fit. And a 1 Death Company Marine with Thunderhammer as well, rounding us out to 470 points. This is a little bit underneath the points, but in boarding actions you do get an extra command point at the start of the game if you are under points than your opponent, so definitely something to consider, potentially trying to play under points in a boarding action game. If you've been playing with the Blood Angels in Warhammer 40k, let us know what you're enjoying, what you're thinking of boarding actions, what units you're thinking of bringing to the table in different combos. Love to hear from everyone down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also, down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members, or by grabbing some merch from either Ko-fi or Teespring. All of these are the best ways to help support the channel, and it means the world to us that people do choose to help support us. Now, as a special thank you to everyone who supports the channel via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Bloobs, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Kevin Bowman, Iron Grinch, and Nuffs. And to our YouTube members, Greenroots Gaming, Ronya Lochloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, Dave Crozier, Dylan Areno, and James Tillman. And lastly, a special thank you to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel. You can see here, and indeed pick up the stickers of the amazing artwork, or the amazing artwork on our merch as well if you want to. But thank you once again, everyone, and a special thanks as well to everyone who helps support the channel, and to all those who come and help with the channel, be the people that come and do battle reports, or indeed those that are managing our Discord server. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.